Win big with new DRF All Access past performances. With one best-in-class product, you now get all 3 past performance formats. Go to DRF.com and use coupon code 1FREEPP for a free single card today.
Dan Illman, Mike Beer taking a look at race number 9 at Breeders' Cup Saturday. It's the Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf, going 1 3/8 miles here on the beautiful turf course at Del Mar. Let's take a look at this field. There are some nice horses in here. Keep in mind that the number 6, Ylang Ylang, has already been scratched. I'm not really sure who the favorite's going to be in here, Mike.
Yeah, I don't either. We got a couple of Godolphin horses. There are a couple of other European shippers, that you still have to deal with. And you got more like Goddess. And they tried the turf in her last 2 starts. They're going back in with the fillies and mares. I think it's a good plan.
It's a great plan, and Bill Mott just wants distance. He ran this horse in 2021 at 1 3/8 miles here. She ran great to be 3rd. The last 2 years, the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf run at 1 3/16 miles, run at 1 1/4 miles. Distance is her game. She gets the distance here. She's back in with fillies and mares, and you can argue she's in good form.
She is in good form. We'll see. Trips are really important for her like Goddess. You always have to keep that in mind, especially when she's a short price. But she's a good horse. I think she's shown this year that she can still get it done.
And she should at least get a fair pace as we throw up our Timeform US pace projector, because Full Count Felicia has embraced these run and gun tactics in her last 2 races. And while she can get to the lead, I don't think she's really the kind of filly that likes to be slowed down. I think she likes to go.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. And so far, especially in those last 2 starts, then it's really worked for her. They just let her get out on the front and flaunt her stuff, and she's made those 2 fields pay. I'll tell you what, there'll be some jockeys worried about this horse if she's opening up a 5 or 10 length lead up the backstretch here.
The bigger price to the Godolphin duo is the number 1 Beautiful Love, winner of the Jockey Club Oaks 2 starts back. Didn't break very well that day, but thought got a decent in-out trip behind a solid pace to score. They ran her in the Weah last time out. I didn't think the Weah was a very strong field. Beautiful Love ran okay, sort of even in the stretch. She's got to do better.
Yeah, she has something to find here. I mean, she's still 3 years old. She's got a lot of improving to do, Dan. She won that race 2 starts back, but that was not a very strong field.
Let's watch Full Count Felicia blow him away in the EP Taylor. She opened up 15 on the backstretch. She's still 7 clear as we pick up the tape, and she has enough to hold off her uncoupled stablemate Moira under the wire. Kevin Attard feels she can rate a little bit, but when I talked to him, he said, listen, she's got a real light mouth and doesn't like to be rated, so I think there's a chance she could be utilizing similar tactics here.
I would hope that they wouldn't try to change it up too much. Are they really going to be bold enough to take those tactics, though, at the Breeders' Cup when they're shooting for such a big purse and such prestige? We'll see. I hope that they gun it in here and put pressure on these horses and just see what happens. Then our last 2 races are actually really good.
Cinderella's Dream, I think, is a filly that has shown an immense amount of promise for such a lightly raced 3-year-old. She won the Belmont Oaks. She won the Saratoga Oaks. She looked good in both of those races. Maybe she didn't blow you away, but I thought she was very solid winning with a good, strong late kick. Now, she was going to run in the EP Taylor. She had an issue and missed the race. She's coming into this race sharp. I trust Appleby.
Yeah, I like that they gave her the time, though, because even after that Woodbine race, they were thinking about running her in the QE2, and they passed on that, too. They just wanted to come here fresh. I think that's probably the right plan. I actually have been really kind of blown away by her 2 North American starts. Really big finishes from off the pace. And I know the most recent start, that wasn't a super strong field. The field that she beat 2 starts back, though, in the Belmont Oaks, that was a good field, and she mowed them down.
What about distance? That's the big question.
Yeah, it's a very big question. I feel like she's going to be able to handle it, but you never know.
War Like Goddess won't have a problem with the distance. She was going for the 3-peat in this race, the Joe Hirsch Turf Classic. She made the first run into a solid pace on the outside. She pokes ahead in front, but here comes arguably the best longer distance turf horse in North America, the boy Farbridge up the rail to get her.
I mean, she ran well in there. She was only 2nd best in there without an issue. It was still a good performance. She's lightly campaigned so far this year. She's had a couple of tough trips and a couple of losses, but that's her. She's going to get trips like that because she doesn't have a lot of speed.
Didia is up next, and for a horse that's really consistent and shows up just about each and every time. That last race was a little bit perplexing, the John C. Maybe. I know she was only beaten 2 lengths, but to me, she never looked like a winner.
I agree with that. Her last 2 races are very disappointing, especially when you consider what she was up to prior to that. I felt like after the New York, Dan, she was going to be a major player in this division going forward, and it just hasn't happened.
Ylang, the number 6 is out. Content is the number 7. This horse won a Group 1 3 starts back over Firm Going, and that is what she needs, and that is why she's here. Her last 2 running lines are very, very bad. But I think the soft turf course and also some slow paces worked against her.
I agree. Soft turf courses, she was never in position to really be effective in either of those. They weren't great performances, but there's ways to mitigate them. Her win 3-back was really good. She ran really well 4-back without a great trip. And I still remember her running at the Breeders' Cup as a 2-year-old last year. Then she was best in that race, just got going too late.
Hang the Moon has turned into a terror here in Southern California for Phil D'Amato. Here's her win in the Rodeo Drive. She's won 3 of 4 since moving into D'Amato's barn. And she's a horse that likes to come from off the pace. And in this race, I thought the pace was fast and it worked out for her.
It's set up for her, but I also still like the way that she finished it off. Dan handled a little bit more distance in that spot. This is obviously a tougher race, but this filly's made very few mistakes.
I am a big fan of Anisette. The question is, how far does she want to go, and does she want to do it against this caliber of competition? She had a 3-race win streak snapped when finishing 3rd, beaten only a half length in the John C. Maybe. She's a horse that she'll run on late.
Yeah, I think she will too. She's 6 for 9 in North America. All of her races are good. I do think she has to improve to beat this field, especially with the added ground.
Moira, the number 10, won the Queen's Plate back in 2022. She was 3rd in this race last year. I thought she ran really, really well. A good 2nd in the Diana, a win in the Beverly D, and just too little too late last time out against Full Count Felicia, when Full Count Felicia just kind of overwhelmed her with that burst of speed. But listen, Kevin Attard's managed this horse very, very well, and I'm expecting a good effort.
I agree, and the distance is not a concern for her. Last time you could see they rated her a little bit early, and then you could see the rider start to panic a little bit as that field came around the turn. He had to get going. It was too late.
Graham Motion has some South African bred horses in this year's Breeders' Cup. Beach Bomb's another one, Group 1 winner down there. Has run okay in both starts in North America. Second behind odds-on winner Mama June at Monmouth in her North American debut. Last time out in the Rodeo Drive, she ran on okay to be 3rd. I really wish I could have saw a little bit more, but now maybe 3rd start in North America, she's acclimated.
Yeah, maybe that'll happen. I'm with you, Dad. I just didn't really see an excuse for her last time. I don't think I'd be betting her off of either of her first 2 starts in North America.
Soprano is the number 12, and she was 2nd last time out in the Queen Elizabeth II Cup. That's a race restricted to 3-year-old fillies, and a good one beat her.
Yeah, that was a really strong performance from She Feels Pretty that day. This horse was only 2nd best in there. Now they're going to move her up in class. They're going to get her out in distance and see what happens.
Like horses for courses at prices, how about the 13, Sunset Glory, as the sun sets on us at Del Mar. A winner 2 starts back in the CTT and TOC over this distance. Last time out in the Rodeo Drive, the trip didn't work out.
It didn't work out. I mean, you could say she was unlucky. I'm not really sure that she was going to win that race regardless. She came back from a really long layoff day and was 2 super impressive wins. Then she stretched out and won again. She did get a little unlucky last time, I guess.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf. Mike, where are you heading?
I want Content in this race. I'm actually I'm kind of rooting for Warlike Goddess. I'd like to see her win it. I was torn between the 3 Cinderella's Dream and the 7 Content. I'm taking Content.
I was torn between Cinderella's Dream and Warlike Goddess. I'm going with Warlike Goddess. I probably use both. I just think this distance is what she's been waiting for. It's the Breeders' Cup, Filly and Mare Turf, Warlike Goddess. Back to the Breeders' Cup for, what is it now, her 4th straight year? Hey buddy, you look like you're in need of a winner, and just remember, if you like and subscribe right over here, you can get all of the great content on DRF.com, including Race of the Day, stakes previews, and lots more, featuring me and my superb selections. Trust me, you're not going to regret it.